we just read Weird Space. This is by A.M. Wiley. He sent us this ebook and was like, please check it out because I wrote it and it's awesome. And we're like, all right, bet. It turns out it was. So he described this book to us as a mix of like Stranger Things, Star Wars, and Spielberg movies. And it's weird how accurate that is. It's like to me, in my head, this vibe was like, so I got the Stranger Things vibe. I got like a Sandlot vibe
Yeah.
and like an ET vibe. Kind of just like that overall like
It's very
genre.
classic 90s kid adventure sci-fi where
Very
just
nostalgic.
you get the vibe of like a group of friends on summer vacation in a small town and like weird things go down and they're discovering the weird things together. It's just it hits that nostalgia feeling so well.
Yeah, this definitely got some like if we were vibrators or like vibrators, I should say, then this would get like a very high score. And I think objectively it gets a high score. But like vibrating, I was like, this is a fun read. Although it's not like fun, I guess, because there's like aliens and death and such. But like it was I enjoyed it. Is what
I
I'm saying about
enjoyed it
that.
as well.
So toss that cover up. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, the cover is the same. The cover gives the same vibes. Cornfield in a barn. If that's not like 90s nostalgia, what is?
Because it also had like a little bit of like horror elements to it as well.
Yeah.
Like
That's too with the slurs.
yeah. Yeah, the big old beetle things that their blood melted things and they like it's interesting too because there was like death in this movie or in this book.
Yeah, there were some
Quite a few
interesting
characters
themes
died.
there were some interesting themes in this book for it being a YA. I guess it was YA.
It's weird because the book itself didn't seem necessarily YA, but the characters and the way that they spoke and were written and everything were definitely YA. Because I mean they're like what? How old in this? Like 13 or something?
Yeah, they're like I think they're 13.
Yeah,
12.
they're not old. Yeah, something like that.
They're not old. It's very interesting. This is a total tangent, but I mean, that's one of the things about all the skills right now. It's written from the perspective of a 12-year-old, but it doesn't feel YA. And I'm like, you need to have a time skip because your character is 12 and is acting like an adult. But anyways, this different kind of vibe. It wasn't like inappropriate themes for kids, but it didn't feel juvenile. It felt
kind of like It. Because
Yeah.
It was all kids, and that was not.
What about it?
White.
You love it here.
All right. Well-developed characters. How you feeling about them? How you feeling about them? Sherrick Charge.
I am giving this one. A lot of this book gets the vibe. It passes the vibe check so hard that I want to give it perfect scores. But to like take a step back, I think I could have used a little bit more character development. Like we got a really wide cast of characters and each of them had their own role and their own like quirks. And I felt like we understood each of the characters surface level really well. Like we understood who they were, but we didn't zoom in a ton on really anyone other than Drew. And Drew's Drew, I feel like Drew is pretty well developed. I don't know. We got a good amount of backstory from Drew and we got a good look at like his inner turmoil. I don't know that we saw him like grow much. But
no, because at the end of the day, he still did the same exact thing and left a note.
Yeah.
I thought like he had some development. I thought Steve, his dad, developed. I thought Sheila had a little bit of like character growth. And like you have like snippets of characters that like are trying to grow, like the athletic kid. And he had the like
Ryan.
The issues with his like dad and the baseball and everything like that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, doing what he wants to do, being what he's told to do. And that kind of, and there was with Kristen, I guess. I don't know. I think overall, I'm torn between giving it like a half point and like 0.75 for that because I feel like the story was good, but like the characters could have used a little bit more rounding outness to their edges.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with 0.5 to try and be fair to other. I've tried to try and be consistent with my other times I've done this category where I've been quick to give it like a 0.5. Like I liked the cast. That's the only thing that makes me like kind of waver.
Hard.
Is because the cast was fun. It did feel very Stranger Things. Like in Stranger Things, we have a whole cast of kids and we know all of them. And it felt like that in this. Like we got the ADHD kid and we got the athletic kid and we got Drew. Like we got the girls have cooties girl next door who's like joins their group and becomes like, it's a very much like a tight knit, like, I think I'll go with 0.75.
I'm going with 0.5.
0.5 or 0.75?
0.5.
Dang, I convinced you. I convinced you as I was convincing myself.
But you're not. but you're not wrong. Like the characters I liked them, but they were
Yeah,
not well rounded enough in terms of.
you're right.
I
It's
really
hard
like.
because I want to vibrate this so hard. I want to vibrate this one so hard, but I feel like to be
We could
fair
do a
and
separate
consistent,
vibrating after,
yeah.
just like a general
But 0.5. Well, little
point
characters.
5.
There we are. 0.5.
Here we are.
That's the number. Sticking to it. Originality and creativity, same kind of vibe as not same vibe, same like parallel theme as Rust Colored Rain, in that like it's not super unique in that like it's another like 90s kid like found family like coming of
There's a
age.
clear
Weird.
umbrella that it falls under, but it like
Yeah.
deviates far enough.
It's definitely its own fresh story, and it doesn't feel like it's a copycat of anything. So yeah, totally unique, totally great, totally a point.
Yeah, point. Nostalgic read. Engaging storyline. I gave it a 1. I was engaged the whole time. I thought that, I really liked it. And this is again with the pacing and everything like that. But I thought the pacing was good. There was no like lull in the story, and I cared about kind of what was happening. My only thing is, and this is just my brain, it was so predictable that the ship was underneath him the whole time. I was like, when are we going to get to this? And then it got like 70%, and it's like, it was
Yeah,
underneath this the
even
whole
his
time. I'm like, this took forever to figure out. I know
even
you're
his mom
12, but
being
come on.
involved was kind of predictable. It
Yeah.
did, for as creative and unique and fresh as it felt, it did fall into a lot of the like reusable tropes for this kind of story.
But like, it's hard because we could make the argument like, is that bad? Because I have problems
true.
when like tropes are thrown in just to get a reader to read it. But sometimes I feel like a book that follows a formula that works and is unique enough, and it's just like it's a good story. It's not going to be like the next big thing, but you're going to read it and you're going to enjoy it type thing. And I feel like those stories are important, and I think this is one of those.
So there we go.
There we go. That's how we're feeling.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
To the story end. The story end,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with a 0.5 for the story end, because it felt rushed is maybe not the right word. I thought we were gonna see like, it took a weird turn that didn't necessarily feel earned. Like I thought we were gonna get like a really classic like the good guys win. And it almost feels like, and I'm not trying to be insulting, it almost feels like at the last second the author said, I think I'm gonna write a sequel, and like changed it up so that it ended in a way that a sequel could be written. And I'm not like, maybe a sequel was intended all along, but that's like to me it was like, we're wrapping up. This is about to be done. And then it was like, boom, drug problem, boom, crippling depression, boom.
There
These
was some
kids
heavy themes.
all have, all the
You
kids
were
are like
12, now you're 13 with a drug problem. You have depression. You are lonely and want to die. Like there's all these different things. Like, this got heavy real quick. Because I would agree. Like if this book was a standalone, I'd be like, this was a perfect standalone. Like if it ended and didn't have like, leading into the sequel.
Yeah.
I'm happy there's a sequel because I enjoyed the story and I'm going to read the next one. But it was shocking that, like, at the end, it, like, led to a sequel. It's like, I didn't think that this was gonna pan out that way. But if you think about it, they kind of the author set the scope up pretty high. It's like there's 10 dimensions in this big
he did.
planet alien worm ball. I gave it a 0.75, mainly because it set up the sequel well, and the ending was for the most part satisfying. I just thought it was really weird that now this child has a drug problem, and like it happened, so it's not like not a thing. But I just felt like it was. I almost want to say out of left field, but like it was alluded to.
Yeah.
But still,
It's interesting.
But I found it unrealistic. He didn't check his pocket for like months for this glowing blue key. I was like, I get what you did, but yeah. So 0.75.
Yeah, I get that 0.5. The next one, world building and setting.
This one was tough.
I think I have an idea for the ending for my vibe rating, and so I think I'm gonna not be as overly generous as overly subjective as I was originally planning. And I think I'm gonna give the world building a 0.5 point as well. Like for the story, the amount of world building we got definitely worked. Like in ET, we don't get like all of the explanations about like ET's home planet and like all aliens of the universe.
You get nothing.
It was just totally fine. But in this one, it's like a whole discussion about the 10 dimensions. We get like this, they're like communicating with the dimension warriors. There's so much more information that is like drip fed to us that it feels incomplete. And like it's set up for the sequel. Honestly, I feel like you could objectively argue either way that like we got the world building we needed for a first book, but I feel like we could have used a little more. Like the scope, it's tough because this, in the same way that Red Rising stays like really zoomed into the Institute, and then after that first book, it like zooms out and you see the universe. This kind of feels like that. Like we don't really know the universe, we don't really know the broad landscape in this first book, but maybe the next book like really opens up.
I see what you're saying, but I almost feel like, and I don't know what we would have needed more, but I feel like we did need like a little bit more of how this war all started. Why is this person abducting parents and brainwashing them and taking over the world in all the dimensions?
And
And
even like how does it work? Like
and he said,
how are these parents getting brainwashed?
I think it was like nudged at, but I was like, I don't know. I could easily, so I give it a 0.75. I wanted to give it a half point because setting was fine for me. I had no issues with setting.
Setting was fantastic.
But the world building, I was like, I wanted more, but at the same time, I think we just needed like a tad more
Yeah, it was really
of what was
close
going
to a
on.
full point. It's really close. It was like a smidge. We needed a smidge,
Smidgen.
a smidge,
Um,
a crumb of
the pacing
context.
and structure I felt was great. Structure was absolutely fantastic, and pacing I had no issues with at all.
Same. It was very well done.
Which again, calling out indies, something we talk about all the time is structure because I feel like as a new writer, I'm obviously not a writer, but from what we see from all the indies we've read, is typically someone will outline a book. Like, I have to hit these points. And yay, I hit all these points. But like to go from A to B, you don't have a, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. It just goes from A right down to B. So like you have your structure, but it's not seamless. There's like a
Yeah.
break in between each and it doesn't transition well. Or there's no structure at all and you're just writing because you want to write, which is okay too. But it doesn't work. This was
Yeah.
done really well. I felt like this
Yeah, very clear story progression.
very fluid.
It's one of
My
those
dog is
things.
attacking.
And this book did great, but I do feel like when we read indies that are hard to follow, I'm often left questioning, is this me? Am I just like not in the right headspace? Am I not paying attention? Or is
We
it
love
a
the
book?
buddy read together as we talk.
But then I think another thing is that I have to remind myself of is that we read so much volume of books that like to look objectively at if like I'm having a hard time following it, there's inherently something there. It could still be a mood thing for me or a time of day thing, but like this book, no issues following it, breeze through it. It was
No
a 2-day
question.
read. And so when it's books that are like a similar size and similar like theme, like sci-fi fantasy, and it's like I'm having trouble following it, it's like, sure, maybe I could like apply 50% more brain power to keep up, but also like it's inherently like a difficult to follow book. Like not this one, just kind of ranting about the nature of difficult to follow structures.
I see what you're saying. Emotional impact, though, I felt like this book did a very good job with.
Yeah, it did.
Especially because I feel like it's hard to translate. Maybe not hard, but it would be for me writing as a child.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you
Yeah.
have to like convey those emotions and those like everything is the end of the world. Everything is raw. Like everything is like a tough emotional battle, even the small things. And I feel like this book did that really well, especially like with the baseball thing, like grief and everything that Drew is going with his mom and like his conflicted feelings towards like loving his dad, which I don't completely understand. I don't know if that's just because I haven't gone through that, thankfully, but like it was,
Yeah.
but like it was very heavy on that end. But you could feel it as the reader as well as like seeing it on the page. I feel like it translated from book to me.
It's also yeah, I agree. It's also not something I understand, but that feels like a theme I've seen a lot in books is that address grief is like pulling away from a parent because of a shared trauma. So it doesn't feel unrealistic. But like I said, that could be because I've but yeah, I gave emotional impact a point too. It was great. The writing style and prose,
no notes because of what we just talked about.
Nothing to say. It was great.
It's hard to write from a child's perspective, especially because you're writing from a child's perspective and it's not modern day, you're reading. I mean,
yeah. And that's like I was just saying for all the skills, right? Like all the skills is written from a 12-year-old's perspective. And I'm like, you need to hurry up and do your time skip here because it doesn't feel like you're writing as a child. It feels like you're writing as someone who got isekai and is actually an adult in a child's body, which is not the story of the book. So it's like, why is this being told from it feels there's a little unorthodox, but this felt great. Writing style, great. prose, great.
Meaningful themes and depth. I think I also gave this one a one. I mean, you have like typical ones like the coming of age and the grief, like we talked about, unlikely friends. But like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of themes, just like one like that kids go through. Like you have bullies, you have like school issues. Of course, you have like the parent trauma, and that could translate too, even if like you loosely translate to like divorced parents or something where the other parent's completely out of the
Yeah.
picture or something like that. Kind of clinging to friends, not wanting to grow up was the big one in this, and being forced to because of external forces and stuff like that, like aliens. But uh
Aliens?
aliens, but this one I feel like did it really well, and it handles things like death in front of like kids, and at the very end you have all the trauma the kids go through. This is this is heavy. It's like, is
Yeah.
book two going to be heavy as shit?
It very much addresses like real trauma. And it's like, yep, if these kids are going to get all twisted up in this like real tragedy crisis, they're going to have real trauma. And it's like, so
And it's
it
interesting
was,
that he used each character to go like, no, none had the same trauma. He like used it to show all the different stages or like different forms that it could take
yeah,
with each individual character. I'm gonna eat the rest of my popcorn while we've been talking.
eat
I
the rest
can't
of your
stop. It's
feelings.
so good.
Movie popcorn is like crack. It
Not only
just like,
movie popcorn, but second day movie popcorn is way better.
I don't know why it's
Way
so good.
better. Movie popcorn's good. The next day, it is
It's like marinated in the butter
ridiculous.
and salt even more. It fully absorbed the movie popcorn flavor.
And I don't put extra butter on it
I don't know.
because I have tongue, and also I don't want wet. But yeah, no, it's delicious. What does that look for?
Adding butter doesn't make your popcorn wet.
What does it make it? Dry.
Buttery.
So it makes it wet.
The butter
Butter
dries.
is wet.
Water is wet. Butter is buttery.
Is water wet?
Is butter buttery?
Buttery, I would argue, makes it more wet.
Peanut buttery? Creamy?
No.
It's like if I keep digging, eventually I'll end up in China.
Yeah. Rereadability and lasting impact. You see the way I pronounce that? No flaws.
Yeah, you worked on that, huh? You're sitting there practicing in the mirror this morning. You're like,
I was saying it in my head a couple times. Unique New York. Yeah. So full point for that because I think this did have an impact. This is a really good.
looking right at the camera, almost in like an It kind of like.
I saw her in the corner of the camera. I'm like, why is she just staring at the camera right now? I think it had lasting impact. It was a really good like nostalgia read. I don't think I've had like a nostalgic read before that felt like this. So these were good feels, and I'm excited for the sequel, which I think is coming out soon, if not. So full point for me there.
I'm saying this one's an absolute banger. I gave it an 8.75. You gave it a 9. That's like an 8.87.
Don't math too hard, it hurts.
It's like an 8.87. Yeah, that's basically a 9. But I think I'm saying this one's an absolute banger. Like, this is just like a really good book.
A vibe banger.
Yeah, it's a really good read. It doesn't have to be like 100% perfectly.
Vibe banger.
It gets a vibe banger. It doesn't have to be perfectly written, but it's perfectly nostalgic. It's one of those special reads. It's magical. Magically delicious.
Tricks are for kids.
Easy recommendation though.
Easy rec for anybody. I feel like you don't have to be a fan of any genre to enjoy this, really.
The one thing I think about for this is that I don't know that I would hand it to my kids to read. I mean, my kids are still young, but I don't know if I would hand this to like a 12, 13, 14-year-old to read. I don't know. I don't have the kids that age yet, so
I feel
maybe
like
I don't.
a 12, 13, 14-year-old would be fine. I feel like your kid's age right now would be a little
I guess it's hard for me to
young.
picture because I don't have kids that are preteens yet. But
There's some heavy stuff.
there is, and so that's the one thing that's difficult. Is like it felt heavy reading it as an adult. Would it feel like But I guess they're not inappropriate themes. So
And also, like, they're probably reading it from a different perspective than us. So, like, they're not going to get out of it what we get out of it.
that's true. That's a really good point. That's crazy. You just kind of cooked there for a second.
What can I say? Except
You're welcome.
you're welcome. Anyway, speaking of you're welcome for this wonderful review. And thank you to our author for sending us the e-file for this because it was an enjoyable read.
It was
We
great.
decided to pick this up and do it because
I'm glad we were convinced.
it's one of those diamonds in the rough because we do get sent quite a bit of messages saying like, hey, would you be interested in a book, a file and stuff, and we try to say yes to most people.
We do, to our own
Then we get a
detriment.
little bogged down with lots and lots of people we accepted. We're getting through our list right now. But this was a diamond rough that I'm very excited that we had. So yeah. Anyway, a overall score of 8.88 ish. 8.88,
8.87.
8.87, whatever. And a absolute banger on our vibe scale. So super excited about that. And we will see you guys in the next one. I don't know
Yeah.
what we're reading next, but we're excited to figure out what
Yeah.
it is. Probably a
Well,
wheel spin
check
soon?
out the video that tells you what reading because we don't know.
We don't know. Anyway, thanks. Peace, love, blessings. RSQ out.